What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing? Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Team USA beat Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic quarterfinals back on Friday night. That was a close game, 5-3. Got a little dicey at the end, but Team USA pulled through to move on to the semifinals. Now, I should say you obviously already know the result by the time you're watching this video because this video is for the start of the week here on Monday, but I'm actually making this video right now yesterday around 6 p.m. So that semifinal game between the USA and Dominican Republic has not happened yet for me, so I do not know the results. However, I think it's going to be a very tough one for Team USA. I could see them definitely losing. That Dominican Republic team is stacked, loaded with talent. They're explosive right now. Offense is rolling. The only reason Team USA, in my opinion, I think has a shot is because Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates is on the mound, or I should say was on the mound last night in that semifinal against Dominican Republic. Again, I don't know the results, so this is a little bit of a moot point by me talking about it. But going back to Friday night, the Phillies obviously have 3 players on Team USA. What they did Friday night in that 5-3 win over Team Canada: Kyle Schwarber, 1 for 4 with an RBI, Bryce Harper, 0 for 5 with a run scored, and Brad Keller, the newcomer in the Phillies bullpen this offseason coming into 2026. He went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and had 2 earned runs. So not the best showing by our Philadelphia Phillies Friday night in that 5-3 win over Canada. But again, we'll see what happens here. Or I guess we already know what happens yesterday in that semifinal between Team USA and Team Dominican Republic. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. So, Phillies spring training continues to roll right along. We are getting very, very close to the end of 2026 spring training and very close to the 2026 regular season for Major League Baseball. Exciting times. Baseball is back and it's awesome. But we do have some weekend games to recap there for the Philadelphia Phillies. On Friday afternoon, the Phillies beat the Orioles 11-8. Andrew Painter, he went 2 2/3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 0 walks, which was good to see. 4 strikeouts, also pretty solid for Andrew Painter in 2 2/3 innings, but he did allow 3 earned runs. Now, 2 of those 3 earned runs was a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning, and overall, I was actually watching most of that game early on, paying attention while I was working, because I work from home, which is awesome, but who cares about that? But still, Andrew Painter, he looked good overall, had maybe left some pitches a little higher than you would like. For some of his certain pitches, living up in the zone isn't always a good recipe, especially on your breaking balls and all that kind of off-speed pitches. But he still looked pretty solid, again, other than allowing that 2-run home run. But those kind of things happened. Overall, Andrew Painter still looking good. The velocity was there, which is good to see. And obviously, 4 strikeouts, no walks in 2 2/3 innings. That is very solid for any starting pitcher. Some other notables in pitching-wise for the Phillies Friday afternoon in that win over the Orioles: Tanner Banks, Jose Alvarado, and Joan Duran. Pretty much the Phillies' top relievers, or 3 of the top relievers here for 2026, all had 1 scoreless inning pitched each. So that's good to see. Alec Bohm, Phillies' 3rd baseman, he was 2 for 3 with two 2-run home runs for Alec Bohm. It was his 2nd and 3rd home runs of spring training. Always good to see when Alec Bohm is using his power, because that is kind of that next level of his game that would really separate him into almost like a fringe all-star player to a perennial all-star player for Alec Bohm, and even right up there for the top 3rd baseman when he's got that thing going for him. Again, not a huge part of his game. That's what a lot of people thought he could have developed over time. Now kind of getting into the second half, you could say, of his career, and still hasn't really fully developed that power in his game or taken that next step, which is holding him back a little bit overall to be in that kind of elite category of 3rd baseman, but still overall a very good player. And if he can get that power going, he could be potentially a 20-plus home run season a guy, which would be awesome for the Phillies if they end up signing him long-term, because this is his last year under contract. But again, good day for Alec Bohm that day, 2 for 3 with 2 2-run home runs. And he also had I don't know what it is now, but at that point, I didn't really look at the batting average going into this video. But at that point, after Friday's win, he had a .375 overall batting average in spring training. So he has had a very good spring so far. Hopefully that carries right over into the regular season. Brian De La Cruz Friday afternoon, he was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Again, I haven't looked at his updated numbers, but he was batting .333 after that Friday game. I know he's played since, so might be, or obviously will be, a little bit different of a batting average, but he's fighting for a roster spot on the Phillies opening day roster as kind of that final bench spot that the Phillies have a few guys in the picture. And one of those other guys, maybe surprisingly or shockingly, maybe if he's not the backup catcher, if Rafael Marchand is, Garrett Stubbs is kind of weirdly playing other positions. The Phillies are experimenting with him at other positions this spring, here and there, taking some reps at certain positions, trying to be a little bit more versatile, to have kind of more impact potential on the Phillies big league roster if he is with the major league club at any point. So maybe it hasn't even been ruled out that he can't make this opening day roster if he is going to be more versatile, if he's proven he can play around the diamond other than being a catcher. So Garrett Stubbs still in that mix for not only the backup catching job, but maybe other bench spot as a utility guy. Garrett Stubbs 1 for 2 with an RBI in that Friday win over the Orioles. The Phillies also played Saturday afternoon. They won that game as well, 6-4 against the New York Yankees. Some notables there. Justin Crawford, the Phillies' one of the top prospects, or top outfield prospect. We all know he's going to be on the opening day roster, making his big league debut in just a few days, really, at this point for the regular season. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI and a stolen base Saturday in that win over the Yankees. Edmundo Sosa, Phillies' top utility guy in the lineup or on the roster. He was 2 for 4. Dylan Moore, one of those other guys battling for that final bench spot, utility guy. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI Saturday in that win. Kyle Backus, one of those guys fighting for the final 2 bullpen spots, and probably at this point going to make the opening day roster the way he's looked. He's looked very good overall in spring training. He pitched 1 scoreless inning with 3 strikeouts there Saturday in the win over the Yankees, and he has a 0.00 ERA this spring. He has not allowed an earned run yet, so that's why I think he's definitely a favorite to get one of those final 2 bench spots. He's been looking good. He's got that sidearm funky delivery as a left-hander, so that helps his case as well. We'll see what happens, but Kyle Backus still looking good here for the Phillies out of the bullpen. Phillies also played yesterday, Sunday afternoon. They did lose, however, 1-0 to the Atlanta Braves. The offense, quiet overall, just had 4 hits. Bryson Stott had 2 of those 4 hits, though. He was 2 for 3 at the plate. Some notables for the pitching staff. Taijuan Walker, who is expected to be in the Phillies starting rotation to start this season, with Zach Wheeler still coming back from injury. Taijuan Walker, the veteran, 5 innings, 3 hits allowed, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 0 earned runs for Taijuan Walker in that 1-0 loss to the Braves. So overall, looked pretty solid there. Jose Alvarado and Joan Duran each pitched 1 scoreless inning each as well. So that's always good. Phillies versus Tigers this afternoon here on Monday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern time start. Again, this afternoon, so tune into that if it still hasn't happened, if you're watching this video before that game, or listen to it. I'm not sure if it's on TV or not, but if they are, watch it if you got the time, just because Phillies baseball, you can't get enough of that kind of stuff. Speaking of spring training, speaking of kind of positional battles, Todd Zolecki of MLB.com, one of the Phillies beat reporters, beat writers, you probably heard his name plenty of times when you're reading through content or whatever it may be. Todd Zolecki, he recently released his most recent roster projection for the 2026 Phillies for opening day. And with that, his roster projection was catcher JT Realmuto and Rafael Marchand. Again, 26-man roster. So JT Realmuto, Rafael Marchand as the opening day catchers on the roster. Bryce Harper, first base. Bryson Stott as a second baseman. Trey Turner, shortstop. Alec Boehm, third base. Outfielders, Justin Crawford, Adolis Garcia, the veteran outfielder acquisition they got this offseason, Brandon Marsh and Otto Kemp, designated hitter, of course, Kyle Schwarber, and then for his bench/utility guys, Todd Zolecki has penciled in Dylan Moore and Edmundo Sosa as those guys getting those final bench spots that I just alluded to a while ago here in this video. Starting pitchers, he has Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola, Taijuan Walker, Andrew Painter. No surprises there. And then for the bullpen, the relievers, Joan Duran, Brad Keller, Jose Alvarado, Orion Kirkring, Tanner Banks, Jonathan Bolin, Kyle Backus, and Chase Sugar. So that's his initial right here, or most recent roster projection for the Phillies 2026 opening day roster. I'll release mine right before spring training ends, right before we get to the spring train or regular season schedule. So stay tuned for that in the next coming days, whatever. We're getting real close to opening day, so I will be having my predictions up before the opening day roster is announced, before spring training is officially over, and before the Phillies officially make that decision. Now, also, one of those guys not on that opening day roster by Todd Zolecki, Zach Wheeler, and that is because we all know Zach Wheeler is not going to be ready for opening day. However, all of his progress so far coming back from injury is going well. He's not really having any setbacks, which is good. Knock on wood for that. So Yes, that's always a good thing. Zach Wheeler, the veteran starter, we know how important he is to this team. And I'll just show his stats here just to let you guys see for yourselves. We all know how important Zach Wheeler is, but here's his numbers in the regular season throughout his career. Obviously, one of the top starting pitchers in all of Major League Baseball, and not just the National League. When he's healthy, Cy Young caliber starting pitcher. You can see it here with his stats. Zach Wheeler, CBS Sports had a article/piece the other day as well, kind of the biggest MLB injury returns for 2026. Zach Wheeler was on that list and kind of gets you wondering, and their question was, will he return to form? I'm also going to bring up here his playoff stats to show you guys as well, because why not? We all know how important and how great Zach Wheeler has been in the playoffs as well for the Phillies. When he's healthy, obviously missed last playoffs because of that injury, the thoracic outlet diagnosis. Missed the end of the regular season, missed the playoff run in the NLDS with the Los Angeles Dodgers. But again, CBS Sports' piece kind of asking or hinting at, can Zach Wheeler return to form? Now, he is getting up there in age, as we all know, 35 years old. He will be 36 during the regular season here in May. So that's coming up as well for Zach Wheeler. He's getting older, we all know. Also, again, not going to be ready for opening day. Tough injury to come back from, where he is coming back from the thoracic outlet diagnosis. Some guys never return to form, especially a guy here at the end of his career, older guy. But again, all signs and all progress, everything is looking good for Zach Wheeler so far. So hopefully all those reports are true and Zach Wheeler does return to form. Again, he's so important. When he's in that rotation healthy, the Phillies have arguably the best starting rotation in all of Major League Baseball between him, Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola, and now the new kid, Andrew Painter. Very good rotation. So we need a healthy and Cy Young caliber Zach Wheeler, and I have no doubts that he will return to form because we all know how great he has been. You just saw his stats I had up there for his career in the regular season and the playoffs with the Phillies. But again, he likely will be retiring, though, after these final 2 years. He has 2 more years left on his contract here with the Phillies. He's said after this contract, he is going to be retiring. So we'll see if anything changes after that. But again, he is getting up there. By the time these 2 years are up, he'll be, 38 years old or so. So most likely the final 2 years of Zach Wheeler. Again, hopefully he can turn it up a notch, return from injury like his old self, return to form, and get right back to a Cy Young caliber starting pitcher. He did take a next step in his progress coming back from injury. He actually threw a live batting practice on Saturday, so that was good, facing hitters really for the first time in a while. Live hitters, live batting practice, so that's good. Hopefully, again, Zach Wheeler is back sooner rather than later. All reports are pointing towards that, saying that obviously not going to be in the opening day lineup, roster, pitching staff, rotation, but in my opinion, I think he will probably be back after probably 2, maybe 3 or 4 rotations through this starting pitching staff, and then he'll be back. I think a lot of reports out there saying hopefully by mid-April. So again, that's not too deep into the start of the season. The season starts March 26th, I think, is their first game. So coming up, and then mid-April, that would be a very good timeline for Zach Wheeler. They definitely could use it. So let's hope Wheels is back and better than ever, or at least back to his Cy Young caliber self. I rambled on there. Let's get into the final topic for today, and that is, as I've been doing for quite some time now, looking at the Phillies 2026 regular season schedule in order from the very first series coming up here against the Texas Rangers I started off with, and now we're getting towards the end of the regular season schedule in this series that I've been doing. This actually is going to be the last week of it. These are the last 5 days, the last 5 teams to cover in the regular season schedule. Now, of course, it took so short because I'm not talking about every single team each time they play them. I'm talking about one team each time, or one team, and then that's it, because we all know the Phillies play the same team multiple times throughout the season, depending on the team and the schedule. So there's no sense in me talking about the team more than once. I've been hitting on one, skipping them when they come back up, and just going right to the next series. If you've been following along, you do know that. And I list the top players from each team, just a little kind of 2 birds with 1 stone, or that was definitely not the saying, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Today we are on the Minnesota Twins. Not a lot of talent compared to other teams that we've been talking about, kind of rebuilding phase for the Minnesota Twins. But some of their top players include Pablo Lopez. He's an all-star caliber starting pitcher. Joe Ryan, he is an all-star starting pitcher. Byron Buxton, you may know that name because he's been linked to the Phillies so much in trade rumors throughout the past couple of years. He's also on Team USA right now, or if they're still in it, still on Team USA for the World Baseball Classic. All-star outfielder Byron Buxton. When he's healthy, he's one of the best out there, one of the best outfielders in Major League Baseball. And then they have other names like Ryan Jeffers, Josh Bell, Cody Clemens, everybody's favorite former Phil, Royce Lewis, Brooks Lee. Minnesota Twins do have some talent. I'm not saying they're not a talented team. Obviously, Major League Baseball, they are professional baseball players. They are very, very good at what they do. But again, they're not that kind of talented team like a Los Angeles Dodgers. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. So much appreciated. You guys know that. As always, go Phils. And if Team USA won last night against Dominican Republic and heading to the championship game on Tuesday, go Team USA. And again, always, always, always go Phils.